Hannytime. A daily look at sports from our resident historian. Your sports break during your lunch break. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. Here's Charles Hanagriff.
And we welcome you in to the Tuesday edition of Hannytime 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. I am Charles Hanagriff, along with Mario Jerez and Jacob Beck. John Brady with us here in about 10 minutes or so. Former LSU coach and current color commentator on the LSU Sports Network. LSU set their roster yesterday for men's basketball. This is the group that they'll have going into next season. We get Coach Brady's thoughts on that. Bottom of the hour, Dwayne Colucci from Las Vegas. The NBA playoffs continue. The NHL playoffs continue. The Lakers held on last night. Groan. What the hell was Golden State doing at the end of the game? I mean, took a bad shot or two here or there. I mean, they looked like the most disorganized team, between Draymond Green just jumping up in the air and throwing the ball to Anthony Davis and Steph Curry just throwing the ball out of bounds, and that's before you even get to Klay Thompson shots. They just looked like not the Warriors, but the Lakers take a 3-1 lead. That sweat you hear hitting the ground, that's the bookmakers in Las Vegas. If the Lakers hoist the trophy at the end of the year, they're gonna take a lick. Trust me on that. We also got some thoughts later on in the show about the passing of former Louisville coach Denny Crum. That news confirmed just a little while ago. Crum, 86 years old, two-time national champion, and well, with some links to LSU in some of his best and LSU's best seasons. Got some thoughts on Denny Crum. But we start with LSU baseball. The Tigers in action tonight against Northwestern State. Back to the old, the midweek games. It's not really what this is about. Midweek games, do they count in the RPIs? No. Do they count as far as development? Yes. And listen, sometimes these midweek games can be kind of a salve on a wound, if you will. LSU got knocked around pretty good on Saturday and Sunday, especially the pitching staff. And I said this several weeks ago, that the way I approach the weekend for LSU is this: I expect Paul Skeens to get 21 outs, 7 innings-ish. Maybe 1 or 2 more, maybe 1 or 2 less. And then, you got to get 81 outs in an SEC weekend. I count on Skeens for 21, and I'm piecing the other 60 together. There's a lot of SEC teams and a lot of teams, period, doing that, by the way. LSU's not the only team that does not have 3 rock-solid starters that they're going to get 6 innings out of. In fact, almost nobody does. But LSU trying to put this together, and sometimes it works really well, like it did against Ole Miss and like it did pretty much against Alabama. And sometimes not so much, like against Auburn this weekend when Ty Floyd cruising along got really taken out of his rhythm with the ejection on the balk call. And then Christian Little and Griffin Herring, who neither one of them could get an out on Sunday. Jay Johnson talking about, is this team in a scramble mode with their pitching?
No, I think it's always evaluation mode for what do we need to do to win. And, this isn't a pitching staff that hasn't had guys pitched well the entire season. We have some injuries and we have some guys that have pitched well that didn't pitch well on Saturday and Sunday. And that's how I see it. So you go back to where you get to execution with each of them, and that's what we'll do. And there'll be some shifting in personnel and those types of things to help them all be in a position that they can be successful and ultimately get 27 outs with as few runs crossing the plate as possible.
See what he did there? He said 21 outs, okay, 27 outs. I went through the whole weekend there. I mean, he's right. We've seen Ty Floyd pitch well. In fact, I've seen Ty Floyd pitch really well and really poorly in the same game. It was Saturday. I've seen Christian Little have effective outings. Maybe more of them were out of the bullpen. Maybe that's an adjustment, one of the adjustments that he's talking about. Thatcher Hurd, who we're going to talk about here a little bit more in a second, has pitched better of late. We've seen Griffin Herring pitch well at times and then not well at times. Gavin Guidry is another one. We've seen him pitch well at times. Other times it's been really short stints. Ackenhausen, back from the injury now. So he's right. Riley Cooper at times is going in there and eating up some innings. But they're going to make some adjustments. I can't imagine that they're not going to at least take a strong look at somebody else to start the game on Sunday and then figure out Little's role. But Johnson talked about some of the adjustments they may make. I'm sorry.
I don't know what to tell them, to try harder. No, that's not the issue with this team. I mean, what we'll do is we'll make some adjustments that we need to, whether it be mental or physical, kind of as Michael was saying, and then get back on it. And that's all that they've done, and excited about that. You know, woke up incredibly energized this morning to get into this week.
Take, for instance, a guy like Javen Coleman, okay, who's somebody that they need to get going. If you listen to the podcast, the Baseball at the Box podcast with Dan Canaveri and I, Cano, who's a pitch coach, was talking about some of the things that didn't work for Coleman, specifically with his curveball in this game. But we've seen 3 other times where it did. Okay, well, that's something that might be a minor adjustment, you know, mechanically or whatever. For Ty Floyd, it might be more mental. What was the difference between Ty Floyd in the 3rd inning and Ty Floyd in the 4th inning? A stoppage in play. Well, that doesn't mean he can't do it. That just means that something threw him out of rhythm, and all of a sudden, you know, he couldn't throw a strike. With Christian Little on Sunday, I think that it was probably mostly physical. He went out there with a lead, so at that point, he couldn't hit the strike zone. To me, that's something that's in his delivery, in his mechanics, wherever, because he did not go out there. There were no distractions. He didn't go out there with a big deficit. He didn't go out there with a big lead. Sometimes that's as mentally hard as anything. He didn't go out there at the end of a tight game. He went out there in the 1st inning with a 1-0 lead and couldn't throw a strike. Okay, so go and see what you can do to fix that. Because I think that they're going to be looking for a different role when things don't work for guys. That's about all you can do. You can go back and work on it and fix it, and then you can try and see if a different role. The inevitable question was coming if Thatcher Hurd could move back into that role that he was at the beginning of the season as a Sunday starter.
I like him pitching the way he's been pitching the last few times, and you know, that was an excellent performance on Friday night, and so I don't have the answer to that yet without, you know, looking at Mississippi State yet, or, you know, we have a game tomorrow, so we'll evaluate that. But he'll be on the mound, you know, he'll be one of the key guys, and I think with the way he's pitching, that's going to be good for us.
Yeah. See, I'm here to help, okay? Coaches have to look at the next game and the next practice and all that. See, we can look ahead. He hasn't looked at Mississippi State yet. Okay, let me save you some time. They're not good. Hadn't been good all season. So what you do in that Sunday spot, you've got some options, but I really liked what he said at the beginning of this thing. He's like, hey, listen, I like the way Thatcher Hurd has been pitching. I'm with you there. All season it's been, where's the role? Is he more comfortable? Is he back from the injury? Is he used to pitching in front of these crowds? Well, now you got Thatcher Hurd pitching pretty well. Don't mess with the molecules, okay? Go figure somebody else that can throw. And it's not like they don't have options. They all come with a question mark. You could start Blake Money on Sunday. You could start Riley Cooper. You could start Javen Coleman. You could start Griffin Herring. You could start Christian Little again, I guess. You know, there's options there. None of them come with a full guarantee. In fact, none of them, you know, come with any kind of guarantees. Right now, if my Sunday starter can get me out of the 3rd inning, you get me through the first 3. Give me I used to say it's a time and a half through the order. Faced 14 batters, get 3 innings, get 9 outs, give up 1 run. That's fine. Okay, on Sunday. This offense, that's fine. That's what they're looking for right now. Finally, Johnson said they're certainly not using the word panic.
I don't even use that word. I mean, we're a no drama program. That's why we're 37-10 and, top of, the league and college baseball and all those types of things. Like, I don't think that's a deal. There's a difference between having intentionality and urgency in what you're doing and panic. I mean, panic's drama, intensity, and urgency is a plan.
Absolutely. Let me tell you about this team was number 1 for 3 months. Yesterday, they dropped all the way to number 2. Let me tell you about a day I had back in 1996. I'm at Alex Box Stadium watching LSU play Alabama, who's really, really good. And LSU got beat. They won the Friday game. They got beat in the Saturday game by 13 runs. Alabama came back and won the series at Alex Box by 7 runs on Sunday. We're walking out of the park, and I hear everybody from fans to media, everybody, game's past, skip by. This is it. It's over. Alabama's just better than us. We'll get into a regional, and 2 weeks later they went to the SEC tournament, got knocked out in 3 games. In the third game, they gave up 12 runs to Kentucky. Don't have enough pitching. Okay. That team was number 1 for a lot of the time too. And a funny thing happened after that Kentucky game at the SEC tournament. They never lost again. Morris had a big hit at the end. You might remember that. My point is that, and I can point to other times with other championship teams. 97 team, I told the story 100 times. They're playing Long Beach State in an elimination game. They're the road team in their home stadium. Coogan hangs a curveball. They're going home. That's it. They won. 1993, they're in the losers bracket. Antonides crying in the dugout. They get the rally. They win, and there's countless other ones that I get. There's no need for panic. It's nothing of that sort. This is a good team that is flawed, and they'll have to figure it out. We'll see how well they do with that starting tonight. Let everybody pitch tonight a little bit, and Mississippi State may just be the cure for what ails them. Listen, losing a series, kind of inevitable. 09 team lost 1 series the whole year to Tennessee. Tennessee finished last that year. It happens. Take a break. We'll switch over to basketball when we come back. John Brady will be with us. This is Hannytime, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hannytime, Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you.
Pop, pop.
What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring. Wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, and check out New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville, or NOLAFlooring.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging.
On Wednesday's OTB, did LSU manage to bounce back in the midweek? And we'll start to look forward to the battle with Mississippi State. Plus, Matt Flynn stops by for some flestering fun. Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
This is Hannytime with Charles Hanagriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hannytime, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Glad to have you with us today, and glad to welcome in former LSU head basketball coach and now member of the LSU Sports Radio Network, John Brady, as Matt McMahon wrapped up his roster build for year 2 yesterday. And, you know, we got a little bit of an idea what the roster is going to look like now. Coach, thanks for spending a few minutes with us. How are you?
I'm doing well, Charlie. Thanks for having me on.
All right. I got to ask you a couple questions before we get into personnel. Unfortunately, you have some experience about what it's like to recruit with the NCAA hanging over your head. You inherited a situation different than what McMahon has inherited, but it still was, you know, something you had to deal with. So just kind of give us an idea of what he has had to deal with on the recruiting trail in his first full calendar year here.
Well, you know, the whole thing's been going on for 4 years now, and you would hope the NCAA would make some kind of finalization and bring this to a head about what's going to really happen. But it's difficult because as good a guys as some people may think coaches are when it comes to recruiting, they can be ruthless and they'll use anything they can against you to keep someone from coming to your school that they want also. So. But also, you know, I don't know how much the NIL experience with how much money you can promise someone or give to someone can make up for some of that. I don't know that. I've never experienced that part of it. But I think I don't think really overall it's probably hurt us a little bit. But in terms of keeping us from getting someone, I'm not sure, because most players today think short term. They don't think long term. And I would be shocked if the NCAA takes anything away from LSU in terms of postseason. And I think that's what really is the key to recruiting, is promising guys that they can make the NCAA tournament. And I would be shocked if the NCAA goes that far with this LSU program.
I'm glad you said the word short term because it seems to apply to everything in college athletics now. Coach, I'm pretty sure when you recruited Stromile Swift, I think you had a pretty good idea he wasn't going to be a 4-year guy. But you didn't have to deal with 12 Stromile Swift situations where all those guys could be gone the next year, whether they were anywhere close to good as Stromile Swift or not. Roster building today and what these guys have to go through and how you have to merge all these personalities. You're pretty much on a 1-year deal with almost everybody.
Well, you're right. And now with transferring with no penalty and NIL money that is out there, it changes the whole dynamic of trying to build a program and sustain a program by doing it a normal way in terms of when seniors leave, you replace them with freshmen. You use a junior college player occasionally to fill in a gap that either because of injury or because of someone transferred you weren't expecting. And that happened on only rare occasions. But now these guys deserve every nickel they're making, because with the uncertainty of a roster a year from now and the number of players that are transferring or trying to transfer and NIL money that's being thrown around, they do think short term, and a year down the road is an eternity now. So and it's hard to build a team and get some continuity, but I think some of this has been reflected in the way the Final Four turned out. You have some of these schools, San Diego State and certainly Florida Atlantic, that have players that have been there 3 and 4 years, and in some occasions the 5th year. I think you may see more of that because it's hard to build credibility, experience when your roster is changing and you have 7 or 8 new players every year. It's hard to put a program together and build a team in that short period of time.
Let's talk about what this class looks like. Now 5 transfers and 2 high school players. And let's start with the transfers, because I think these are players that you're very familiar with, starting with Jalen Cook, who was here before and went and had a very good run at Tulane. They get him back, Coach, to a layman like me. I look at the numbers and I say, okay, pretty good chance that Jalen Cook is going to be the leading scorer on next year's team. Tell me what you think of him.
Well, I saw Tulane play over the last couple of years probably 11 or 12 times. The coach at Tulane and I are good friends, Ron Hunter. I think he does a nice job. I was a little disappointed or shocked to a degree when Jalen Cook left, but I think, Will made the determination to play the young man from Georgia over him, and Jalen Cook went to Tulane, and he is a really, really talented player. I would take him at LSU every single day. He wanted to be at LSU. He's a local young man. I always had success with those type of players that wanted to wear that LSU across their chest. And not only does he want to be there and do well, he's talented enough to make a difference, and I think he's an excellent addition to the team.
2 kids from Baton Rouge, Carlos Stewart and Jordan Wright, of course, coming from Vanderbilt. So you've seen him in the Southeastern Conference, and Stewart with a good run out at Santa Clara. These 2 players excelled in Baton Rouge. What do you think of their fit?
Well, they played for my former player, Jonathan Pixley at Dunham, and I saw him play. Coach Wade passed on both of those players. Jordan Wright, I think, brings some leadership and experience. He's a solid player in the league. He's proven he can play in the league. He's a 10, 11, maybe 12-point guy a game. But I think the maturity and the leadership that he brings to the program is needed, and I think he'll be an excellent addition as well. I like his experience. I like his character. And, again, he's a Baton Rouge guy that is going to be able to allow himself to be coached because he wants to wear that purple and gold. Carlos Stewart, I didn't know much about him in high school. Again, Will passed on that guy. He went to Santa Clara and averaged, I think, 17 points a game or so. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining. I think he's a solid addition to the team as well. Not sure if he's going to have the impact as Jordan Wright or Jalen Cook will have, but certainly I think from a depth standpoint, he brings some character and some good things intangibly that this team needs.
And then Will Baker, the 7-footer from Nevada, was a player you got a chance to see in person down in the Caymans last year. Nevada was a part of that tournament, and he's a skilled big, and I would imagine a starter from jump.
Yeah, much like Williams. I mean, he can step out, shoot the three. Not a tremendous rebounder, but I think he'll give an effort to rebound it. But offensively, I think he's going to help the program because he's a pick and pop, 6'11", 7-foot guy. And evidently he wanted to be at LSU, and for some reason he wanted to leave Nevada, even though he had a successful career there. So I think he will, if he doesn't start, certainly he'll get significant minutes in crucial moments of games based on what he's done at Nevada.
And then the players that are returning, and you can speak about any one of them. I'll ask you specifically about Tyrell Ward, though, because the critics of this class are going to say, and this is not a class that's studded with 5-star guys, but Ward was a very highly rated player. Started out slow, but was starting to come on at the end of last year. Between him and the rest of the returnees, what are you building on? What kind of core do you have here?
Well, here's what I think the two guys that need to show improvement are Jalen Reed, who was highly respected coming out of high school, and Tyrell that you just talked about. I think those two guys have to improve significantly, particularly on the offensive end of the floor. I think defensively they're going to be fine, but I think offensively those two guys need to improve and get better. And the only way Tyrell got better toward the end of the year, as you mentioned, is he got the minutes to show what he could do, and he was able to play through some mistakes. And I think with young players, you need to let that happen. Let them make some mistakes. Let them play. Give them some confidence. And I think this year you'll see an improvement in those two guys. And Trey Hannibal, I always liked Trey Hannibal because he was competitive. He was tough. He could defend it. I like him coming back. I think that's a good addition. Derek Fountain proved that he can play in the league at 11 points a game and 6 or so rebounds. I think the improvement of him, along with Ward and Reed, will be a key to this team from an offensive standpoint. And then Wilkerson, I'm not sure. I have a question mark by him in terms of his effectiveness and what he will give to the team. I know he'll probably bring some added depth because he certainly is a good defender. Hadn't been a significant scorer in the past, but we'll just see how he fits in. But I do think Reed, Ward, and Fountain are three key returnees for Coach McMahon to bring back.
Coach John Brady is our guest. Last year they had to put together a team on the fly. It literally starting from 0 players on the roster the day he got to campus. So I don't want to take a whole lot from the first year stylistically, what kind of characteristics that team had, because I don't know if that's what Coach McMahon did because he had to or because he wanted to. But I will ask you now that he's had a year and has been able to put together a team that he wants. What do you expect? What is this? And I realize they hadn't practiced one time together yet, but what do you expect stylistically, characteristics of this team that Matt McMahon wants to have?
Well, I think when I've talked to Matt, I think what he's always wanted was a balance between returnees, freshmen. I don't know the two freshmen that they're bringing in, and portal guys. I don't think you need to go all portal. I don't think you need to go all freshmen. You need to have a balance of returnees that can create some character and some things in the locker room that are needed, the intangibles that are needed for teams that play well. I think he's done that. Now, I think what remains to be seen, are we going to be good enough with the players we have returning, plus the players that we've added, to show improvement? I would be shocked if this team doesn't show improvement in terms of the win column and the execution and how they play together. I will be shocked if it doesn't, because usually, Reed and Tyrell Ward are going to improve. Trey Hannibal knows what it's like to play in this league now. Derek Fountain, I'll be shocked if he's not a really good player in the league. And then the guard play, I think Wright and Cook will really be good for LSU in terms of making good decisions on the floor, and Jalen Cook can create shots. So, Charlie, I believe this team is going to show improvement. I mean, you got to say if you won 2 games in the league, you better show some improvement. And I look for this team to probably hover in around 8 wins or so next year. If you can win some close games, you may get 10. So we'll just see how it plays out.
It's an important summer for them as for your summer. How's your golf game?
Well, my golf game is good, and I play a lot, but it doesn't mean I'm a really good player. I just enjoy being out there. But in fact, I played yesterday up here. I'm in Jackson, Mississippi, and just played at the Belhaven College Alumni Golf Tournament. And I played yesterday, and our team played pretty good. But I play a lot. Doesn't mean I'm good, but I certainly enjoy it.
Well, stay out of Shreveport because Brando's been looking for a game. Okay, so and he told me
Every day
he's got your number. So, Coach,
I appreciate it.
We always enjoy the time. Thanks a lot, and we'll catch up with you sometime this summer.
Anytime, Charlie. Appreciate it, man.
Coach John Brady with us. We'll take a break. Dwayne Colucci with us when we return. This is Hannytime, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hannytime.
Big Mike's out in Denham Springs. Enjoyed the show last night. Had a great crowd out there on Monday night. All you can eat ball shrimp, always a popular item. That's every Monday at Big Mike's. Live music coming up this weekend. Friday, the Honky Tonk Playboys, and Saturday, Kyle Wilson takes the stage at Big Mike's. Here in May, with graduation upon us, you got your party rooms that are available for your graduation celebrations, family friendly, multiple size rooms that you can get for your get-together for your graduate. Or if you're doing it at home, Big Mike's will handle off-site catering for you as well. Part of the Denham Springs fabric and the Denham Springs Hall of Fame right at the front of the restaurant. Of course, Big Mike's has got happy hour drink specials Monday through Friday from 3 until 7 and Sunday all day. Enjoy Sunday fun day out at Big Mike's watching baseball, basketball, NASCAR, golf on the 40 TVs out in the bar. Big Mike's on Aspen Boulevard in Denham Springs. Hey, we're kind of a big deal.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Join me for a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Glenn West on the Tigers, Sharif Ishak on the Saints. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hannytime with Charles Hanagriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com. Dwayne Colucci joining us now from Las Vegas, South Point, and the Rampart. Colucci, how you doing?
What's going on, Charlie? How you been?
Well, okay, so last night, a lot of good and some nervous for you. I'm guessing the Vegas Golden Knights, with the big win last night, had you in a pretty good mood. And as a bookmaker out in Las Vegas, the Miami Heat winning, if they won the whole thing, that would be just fine. Can't imagine the action piled up on the Heat on futures. But then the Lakers won to go up 3-1, and I know if the Lakers win the championship, they're going to close down Las Vegas, right? Because the customers are going to win all the money if the Lakers win the whole thing. So a lot going on for you last night, huh?
Yeah, definitely, Charlie. You know, I'm my own worst enemy with the Lakers. I definitely was touting them when they had those huge odds and telling people not to forget about them. And now all of a sudden, Golden State can't hit a shot, in the last 2 or 3 minutes other than Steph Curry, and it becomes a problem. And, total credit to the Lakers. They're getting play out of Walker, out of Reeves, out of all these other, guys, Schroeder. They're definitely playing great. And as a team, they're playing a lot better than Golden State, where you have Jordan Poole, who was non-existent, played 10 minutes last night. Klay Thompson looked terrible, old, missing shots. And, when you're relying on Steph against, a unit of 5, it's going to be difficult. And that unit of 5 includes LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And LeBron didn't have a great game. I mean, he was 10 for 25. It's the role players that are doing it, and they're getting it done for the Lakers. And Darvin Ham is actually out-coaching Steve Kerr, in this series so far. That's another great point. And it's become difficult now. As bookmakers here in Las Vegas, Rampart and South Point have huge liability. I've spoken to other, bookmakers in town here in Vegas. Big liability if the Lakers win the title. But there's a lot of basketball remaining. Still got to go, get past Golden State. Have to go back there now. Have to get past possibly Denver or Phoenix, and they're playing really well. And you have the Eastern Conference champion as well if the Celtics, Sixers, or Heat get it done. My Knicks just... they don't look like they're playoff ready just yet. And there's a lot of holes, a lot of ankle injuries, it seems like, too, with the Knicks. Brunson got hobbled late. RJ was hobbled early, and he was playing really well in the first half. He was the offensive go-to guy, whereas Randall, once again, disappearing. Mitchell Robinson got dominated by Adebayo, too. You could see how Mitch can't make a foul shot. He was missing offensive rebounds, missing defensive rebounds, and just getting destroyed by his opponent. And that's going to be definitely addressed in the offseason. I wouldn't be surprised, if the Knicks don't get by this round and Mitchell doesn't improve, you're going to see Robinson go in possibly a multiplayer deal that the Knicks will look to put together.
I don't know how Jimmy Butler feels, but he's playing great. So he may be playing with a bad take your pick, knee, ankle, shoulder, whatever. The guy just goes out there and puts up big game after big game. Tonight, we got a couple of 2-2 series, Celtics and Sixers, and the Nuggets and the Suns. Celtics, we're seeing 7.5 here, Colucci against the Sixers, going back to Boston, and the Nuggets about 6, with Phoenix coming back to Denver.
Yeah, we have the Celtics at 7.5 at the Rampart and South Point, 213. We're seeing some action on the under here as we open that at 214.5. Slight tick up on the Celtics, naturally returning back home. A lot of people feel that the Celtics are the better team to begin with. But, Harden has really found himself. He's playing very well. And Embiid will get better and better regardless of, his prior play. But the injuries are lingering, so you have to watch him. They need Maxey also to step up, but Boston definitely is right there. That was a fabulous game the other day, one of the best playoff games I have seen in a long time, and this is a huge rivalry on the East Coast. Celtics 76ers is just, it's great. The handle has increased because the Sixers are so competitive. this is going to be a great game. I can anticipate it again. Denver is sitting at 6.5 at the Rampart in South Point. We had opened this game at 4.5, so we're seeing a big pick up here on Denver. Also, the total 227.5 holding. We opened at 228. The Joker returns home. We're going to see how good they are at home. Phoenix definitely took it to them, though, when they were at home. And Durant and Booker are a fabulous, fabulous tandem. They could put up points like machines. So, we'll see how the altitude affects the parity of Jokic, pushing the Suns owner, if that gives them a little more incentive. I think the Suns showed a little something, in those last couple of games, but this is a tough game to handicap. We're going to see definitely some Denver money just because of the fact that they're home.
Colucci, I'm not a huge prop guy, in the NBA, but I got to think that James Harden's over-under points tonight is one of the most fascinating bets that you could make. The total I'm showing right now is 21.5. You want to talk about what James Harden you're going to get. The first game he scores 45. Last game he scored 42. The middle two in between that he scored 28 combined. So I don't know what kind of action you're taking. You're probably not monitoring that particular bet. But James Harden, well, you want to talk about a guy who could be anywhere from 12 to 40 points on a given night. We've seen both of that in this series.
Yeah, definitely, Charlie. If he facilitates, he's not going to score as much. And if Embiid is on fire, he's going to take control. Or you have them basically relying on Harden to go shot for shot with Murray and the other guys on Denver. So, or go shot for shot with Tatum and Brown. So, it's definitely difficult because the flow of the game is what's so difficult in this series, Charlie. Even the Celtics, sometimes they go through Brown, like I said, sometimes they go through Tatum. Horford seals up Embiid. So if Horford does a good defensive job, you're going to get the over on James Harden. But if, James Harden facilitates, like I said, and they rely on Maxey and the other guys, it's very difficult. But I would tend to bet, over if I was a James Harden fan, because you're looking for him to explode. They definitely need his points to compete, and they need both him and Embiid to play at a very high level. And this is definitely a great series. You're returning now to Boston. The crowd's going to be very, very hostile. I think Harden could go over tonight without a doubt. 21 is kind of low, in my opinion. 21.5, what have you. So I would expect Harden to have a great game tonight and to force Boston's hand. And, this series is going to be difficult. Moving on.
If you had to bet what was in your pocket right now on who's going to win the NBA championship, not what's a good value bet or what's the longest. If you had to pick a team to win it right now, who would you pick?
I would probably favor the Celtics slightly. I mean, I thought they were the best team going in the Eastern Conference. But, definitely Miami could play at a high level. You're seeing Jimmy Butler. You go back a couple of years ago, this was a finals team, and they're doing it without Tyler Hero. Spoelstra is the best coach probably remaining. So, it's still going to be very, very difficult. And it depends also how this Denver series wraps up. If Denver starts to explode and flex, they could be definitely a force. I'm not going to pick the Lakers because I can't root for them, but I said it, Charlie. You know that. When they were like 500, sub 500, they are still a very dangerous team, and the moves that they made, they're proving it now as they are definitely competing, if not playing better than Golden State. So this is wide open, but I would probably say the Celtics, they would probably be where my money is.
All right, I know you're in a good mood hockey-wise because the Golden Knights went up 2-1 on Edmonton last night and just really blew them out. Tonight we got Hurricanes and Devils. Canes lead that one 2-1. We got the Stars and the Kraken. Seattle leads that one 2-1. Where does your allegiance lie tonight in the NHL?
Well, I'm definitely sticking with the Devils. It was so good to see them bounce back. I put a lot of money on them in that game. I don't want to get personal, but, I was riding them, and I felt it was a similar, trend as that Rangers series. But the problem was Carolina looked so good. But also keep in mind, Carolina is a great, great home team. And the Devils were able to flex in this series in that last game. Jack Hughes got off 4 points. That's so important. Only 17 minutes of ice time, Charlie, including 2 goals. And Palat got involved. Meyer was back on the ice, which is so important as long as he's healthy. That hit by Trouba definitely, set him back, but he was able to light the lamp. He was a +3 in that last game against Carolina. And remember, Carolina got 4 goals, but one was a penalty shot. They have fabulous talent. Sebastian Aho rested a little. He only played 14 minutes, but he could be banged up as well. I have to keep an eye on him. They definitely could explode Carolina, but I think the move back to Vanacek definitely helped the Devils. Now you get your starters' confidence back between the pipes. You're not relying on that young rookie Schmidt, and that's important. They chased Anderson. Kochetkov had to come in, and they got 4 goals against each goalie. So now Carolina's scratching their head a little. I'm definitely sticking with the Devils in this situation. We have them at 145 at the Rampart in South Point, which is kind of a good deal if you ask me. 5.5 under favored 15, and they scored 12 goals in the last game. So, this will probably be a tighter checking game or variation of this series, but it's going to be very, very tough. The Devils have to put their nose to the grindstone because you don't want to go back to Carolina 3-1. And this is a huge game for the Devils. Dallas, 140 on the road. I couldn't lay it. I mean, Seattle looked dominating that last game. I was able to give that one to Jimmy. He asked me about that game prior, and, we were all over the Kraken, and it was just a celebratory victory. And they were just crushing Jake Ottinger. I mean, the barrage of shots was just incredible that this team put forth, and the crowd is electric there. Matty Beniers is definitely the Calder Trophy winner. That's the Rookie of the Year in the NHL. He had a goal and an assist. He was +3 in that last game. Eberle got a goal. Gordy got a goal. Everybody scored and played well. And you're getting now the veteran leadership of Philip Grubauer between the pipes, a guy who definitely knows how to win from his Colorado days. And he is outplaying one of the best goaltenders in the league in Jake Ottinger. Ottinger got chased in that game. He only made 17 saves and gave up 5 goals, and Wedgwood wasn't much better. They were able to get 2 off him. So you got to look at Seattle now. Dallas's back is against the wall, but don't count Peter DeBoer out. They definitely have some talent. They have to get a little more out of Joe Pavelski and Seguin. Those are their veteran leadership, and Robertson will follow, but it's going to be tough. Seattle looks good, and that crowd just adds another element.
All right, Colucci on one favorite, one underdog. Devils and the Kraken, both home teams tonight in Game 4s in the NHL. Colucci, we love you, man. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you on Thursday night on Game Time.
Sounds great, Charlie. Thank you, and have a great day.
You too. Dwayne Colucci from the South Point and the Rampart. Take your questions. Back to wrap things up. Hannytime, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hannytime.
Infinity of Baton Rouge, offering you cash for your vehicles. Off the street right now. Takes less than 15 minutes for you to get a quote on what your vehicle is worth. At that point, you can sell it for cash. You can trade it in on a new vehicle, or you could just walk with that information. There's no pressure to buy. The certified pre-owned program, as I've told you many times, is absolutely outstanding. My family has gone back to it many times, including once just a couple of months ago, because of the service that you get with it. Certainly, they're going to be able to get the make, the model, the mileage, the price that you're comfortable with, transparency in pricing, but you're going to get that first year of service complimentary. You're going to get roadside assistance. You're going to get a complimentary car when you bring your vehicle in to be serviced. So all of those extras, the vehicle has been brought up back to a certain standard with that quality point inspection. They'll back it with a 100,000-mile warranty. The certified pre-owned program on Airline Highway at Acura and Infinity of Baton Rouge.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hannytime, Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good look.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR. We'll talk some football with legendary D-line coach Pete Jenkins, and we'll preview LSU Northwestern State from the box. Join us for Tuesday's AFR 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hannytime with Charles Hanagriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
College basketball world mourning the loss of Denny Crum, the legendary coach at Louisville. The Basketball Hall of Famer died today at the age of 86. Louisville basketball was put on the map by Denny Crum. He was a coach there for 30 years. He went to 6 Final Fours, 1 Elite 8, and 9 Sweet 16s, and won 2 national championships in 1980 and 1986. The link here is that both of those teams that won the national championship for Crum both beat LSU deep into the tournament. 2 of Dale's best teams were beaten by Denny Crum. 1980, they lost in Houston in the Elite 8. They lost that game by 20. That was the Dr. Duncanstein team, the Darrell Griffith team. Dr. Duncanstein, Louisville's first national championship under Crum in 80. In 1986, the Cinderella Tigers met Louisville in Dallas and ran into a freshman named Purvis Ellison, who would later be the number 1 pick in the draft. Did not have a dominant career as a pro, but in college, his freshman year, Purvis Ellison was fantastic. Never nervous, gave LSU fits. They beat the Tigers by 11 in Dallas. Crum played collegiately at UCLA for John Wooden, was an assistant coach there when he was hired at Louisville. Maybe his best team outside of the 2 national champions. He went to the Final Four 4 other times. Might have been that 83 team. They went 32-4, lost to Houston in the national semifinals in Albuquerque. This is the Houston team that would be upset by NC State. That team was great and would have won a national championship in many, many of these other years. Lancaster Flash Gordon was on that team. Milt Wagner was on that team. The McCrae brothers, Rodney and Scooter, were on that team. And everybody thought that the real national championship game that year was the national semifinal between Houston and Louisville, and Houston won what was a fabulous game. I mean, one of these up and down. I forgot what the score was, but I want to say it was in the 90s, and it was great. And it was like, okay, well, Houston just won the national championship. Jim Valvano and NC State had other ideas, but that 83 team under Denny Crum was probably just as good as his national championship teams. just kind of, they ran in the Phi Slamma Jamma, and those guys were pretty good too. Denny Crum passes away at the age of 86. For Mario Jerez, for Jacob Beck, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.